you guys want to catch a coon, make some raccoon burgers. Oh, I got a big trap. This thing will catch a coyote. I don't need a big trap to catch a raccoon, but this is all I got. We're in southern Ontario here. It's farm country. Best kind of raccoon. Want to know why? Because they're eating the same thing that cows are eating. Corn, soybean, you know, they're eating grubs, frogs, ants, whatever they can find. If we have any kind of luck, we're actually going to catch a coon back here. I'm going to go down to the creek bed. I don't know if it's running. It's been pretty dry this year. Coons will follow that creek bed from their beds, and they'll go make their way out to the cornfields at night. They're almost 100% nocturnal, so they're super difficult to hunt. Might even bump a deer back in here. I haven't been back here in a while. Jump back here in the dirty swamp. Coons love being back here in the dirty swamp. I'm gonna try to get to that creek bed in here. And I'll use that creek bed as a runway. See if they can find anything to eat. You gotta do a lot of work if you want to get yourself a coon burger. You guys see how big this trap is? Oh, I could fit in it. I set it up over here. When you set up your trap, you want to make sure that it's on a flat surface here. You want it to be nice and level. You don't want it to be too rocky. When the raccoon comes in there, it starts to wobble. It's going to start to make the raccoon panic. So make it flat, make it nice and level. A really simple operating system on this. Just got a foot pedal here, connected down here. Okay, so what we need to do is push the safety down. We're going to pull this up, and once we have it up here, and we take the foot pedal down there and we just latch it in right here. Now we'll make it a little bit more sensitive, so just a little bit of overhang there. You can see that connects to the foot pedal, so when that foot pedal gets depressed down here, that's going to drop that door. Ready? And the door's shut, and the raccoon can't get back up. Guys, then we get ourselves a meal. Raccoon burger. Think about it. Raccoon burger. For bait, I pulled a little trick on the raccoon. What I did was, salmon. But the trick is, I ate all the salmon already. So what I'm going to do is actually throw an empty can of salmon and all the liquid that comes out of it, you know, the kind of stuff that you don't want to put in your sandwich. I'm going to toss that into the back of the cage, and when the raccoon comes in to grab it, it's going to get stuck. It's a dirty trick, but salmon, tuna, sardine, anything like that that emits a strong odor is going to draw that raccoon in. I'm going to spread a little bit of the scent around. I'll get some of that liquid here. We'll just spread it around, throw it on the trees, throw it all over here, and that's going to draw that raccoon right into that trap. All right, let's toss it in. Let's set this trap. Let's get out of here. We can check it back in the morning. I'll push that right to the back of the cage. All right, we want a hair trigger, just so, very, very lightly. There we go. I'll come back tomorrow. It's been a couple days. I've been checking the trap. Haven't had anything yet. I just went around the corner. I know there's a raccoon in there. I've got my 22, Ruger 22. So we're gonna make this the easiest possible on the animal. We don't want to put it through a lot of stress. So we're just gonna get this over. This is not something that I enjoy, and it's not something anybody enjoys really. But it's part of the cycle of life. You want to eat meat. So let's go have a look at this raccoon, and we'll get this over as quickly and painlessly as possible. That's the benefit of being a human being, a human predator, is that we can make the suffering a lot less when it's the end of a life of an animal. They don't usually have that luxury when they die of natural causes and of other predators. There's one shot and the raccoon is completely dead. Like I said, if you want to eat meat, this is part of something that you really need to address about the way you go about eating food. Hiring a hitman to provide food for you is no excuse. You know, you're eating meat, somebody's doing this for you. They're putting the bolt on the back of the cow's head. This is no different, not at all. Alright guys, after a lot of processing, we got a raccoon running out of light today, so it's not going to happen. I'm going to have to come back tomorrow. We're going to make a fire, grind this guy up, turn him into a burger. I think it's going to be pretty good. What do you guys think? Would you eat a raccoon burger? Would you think about eating a raccoon burger? I'll leave that up to you. I've already made up my mind. Man, the days are so short lately. I don't get too much done. The day's already passed. I should tell you that if you guys are going to eat raccoon, you got to do it properly. You got to get rid of those glands. We've got certain glands, and the only way to do it is to actually look up a really good video. So I'll show you guys a video where you can figure out what those scent glands are and take them out. There's a lot of them. I mean, every animal's different. Some have some hidden ones here and there. So you guys go check out those links and grab that. I'm gonna actually head home. I'll probably process the rest of it there, and then I'll get it all ready for grinding. I should be deer hunting right now. I really should. But I'm caught between a bunch of things. I'm building the small cabin and got that on the go, and got the raccoon on the go. I cooked a squirrel not too long ago, but I want to make use of all the seasons, right? Raccoon season's only in the fall. Same with squirrel. I've been popping squirrels off every once in a while as I see them working on the cabin over here. So I got Jeremy here. He's got the bag of raccoon. So I thought it would be a good time to head out to the cabin here. We're almost there. We're going to make some burgers.
Yeah.
Yeah? All right, raccoon burgers on the way. We've got the stove all fired up. Everything's all ready to go. So we're just gonna jump in here. We got a grinder. What do you think? You have any spices to add to it? Jeremy's doing his big wild year.
Yeah.
So you got a few things we can add in the mix?
Yep.
Yeah, and we were thinking about using caul fat, but I think we'll probably not use the caul fat.
No.
No. So we're just gonna do straight up raccoon burgers. And I don't know if you're following what Jeremy's doing on his channel, but he's only eating wild food for a whole year, which is pretty crazy. And he's taken a liking to raccoon.
Yes.
It's you might not think it's good, but
it's good.
It is good, right?
It's really good.
Yeah, and
yeah.
Hopefully I've prepared it properly and I've get rid of all the glands.
Yeah,
I think I have. It's a smaller raccoon, so I don't think it was like full of scent glands and things like that.
Yeah.
So we'll have to maybe do a second check.
Okay.
But they hide inside the fat, and we've done a video about cleaning raccoon before. Yeah. So you have to go back and check it. Maybe I'll link down the bottom. You've been eating a lot of raccoon lately?
Well, I ate one, but it stretched out over a lot of meals.
Yeah.
I posted a video about that recently.
And you said it was one of like the best meats you've had, like one of your favorite.
I really like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Delphine, it's like her second favorite.
Yeah.
Just behind bear.
Which is kind of interesting. You wouldn't think like, you know, trash panda is actually good to eat, but
yeah,
when you get the right one and you prepare it the right way.
Yeah. Well, these guys are not trash pandas because these guys are. This is from the woods and cornfields, right? So
yeah.
That's different than if you're in the GTA and you're getting.
GTA would be the Greater Toronto area, or any other urban center for that matter for American people. It's like, well, it could be like downtown somewhere.
Yeah.
And there's raccoons almost everywhere.
Yeah.
Whether you would eat one of those, I don't know. I guess it's up to you. But
yeah, if you're hungry enough.
Yeah, I would pick and choose and definitely grab one from the wilderness. Where they're eating, you know, things that regular animals eat, as well as things that cows eat, which is like corn and soybean, and whatever else they can find. But they'll eat almost anything, so they have to be cooked well. So that's pretty much what we're going to be doing here. We're going to make sure they're burnt. I don't know, maybe not burnt, maybe not burnt, but pretty close. They'll be well cooked because they can contain parasites. Most of them probably will contain some kind of parasite, whether it's transmissible to people is a different story, but you have to always cook wild meat well. Yeah, let's jump in the cabin and let's get fired up here. I don't know what you guys watch or what you eat when you watch a cooking show, but we should probably get some food. Do people make food while they're watching cooking shows, or do they? What do they do?
They eat pop and chips.
Do they?
Think about all the nice things that they could cook.
So pause the video and go get a snack, because definitely your mouth is going to water making coon burgers.
Is that a guarantee?
Yeah, I think so. I think once the sizzle is going to get you, because it's pretty fatty meat. So we're going to get a sizzle going. So this is a grinder, standard hand grinder. It's actually like probably 60 years old or something like that.
Yeah.
It's my grandmother's grinder.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, my mom gave it to me. She's like, "You want it?" I'm like, "Yeah." Why not? But you can actually take this back off and then hook up a drill to it.
Oh yeah.
It works really good. So we're gonna do hand grind it. Maybe later, if I want to do like a pile of stuff out here, I might rig it up to a electric drill. It works really well. I'm just trying to get it nice and tight so it doesn't swing on us. Jeremy, you want to introduce the spices?
Sure. Yeah, I didn't bring too much with me, but what we'll mix with these burgers are some yarrow. So that's Achillea milfolium.
Is that not a medicinal plant?
It is also a medicinal plant. Yep.
So we're gonna get cured of all our ails?
Maybe. Yeah, and I drink it in tea quite a bit. And I've been using it as a spice on roasts, and I quite like it.
Is that the yellow plant?
No, it's white flower.
Yarrow, okay, yarrow I know, it's the white one.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's got some coloring on the inside of the flower sometimes?
Sometimes, yeah.
Sometimes, okay.
Yeah, tinting.
Maybe I'll try to find, I might have some file footage of a live plant if you're interested in looking for it.
Yeah, yeah.
But maybe I should give you guys a reference of what it smells
Yeah,
like.
Or you can copy one off of the Wikipedia Commons too, right?
That's
just
true.
a picture.
Yeah, because you should know if you're gonna go looking for it, but don't take my word for it. Check your resources. Smells like a flower.
Yeah.
Smells like a weed.
Yep.
Smells okay. Yeah, I mean, this is what.
Sniff that one. This is the wild leeks.
Oh.
So these are just the greens. If you're picking a wild leek patch, if you just pick the green tops, you can dry them, and they're fabulous. You can crumble them up and add them to things. And you can't really hurt the patch if you're picking lots of the greens. Obviously, don't pick them all.
It doesn't smell strong like I mean, probably when we eat it, it'll smell stronger. So it's like onion, right?
Yeah.
Like a sweeter version of an onion?
Yeah. Yeah, and a little bit garlicky too.
Yeah, I think I smell more of the garlic than the onion in that.
And then, we also picked the bulbs, but the bulbs we're more careful about how many we take out of a patch.
Yeah, the bulbs are really good. It resembles an compact onion, I guess.
Like a long onion, a long slim onion.
Yeah, and it's good pickled, right?
Yeah,
okay.
So we'll mix those two things and some maple syrup.
So, as always, when we put these things together, there's never a guarantee that anything is going to work. So if this grinder doesn't work, the backup plan will just chop it up.
Yeah, hand chop.
Because it does, on a cutting board. I think that'll work well. So, I don't know, what job do you want? I have a glove for feeding it, and then we have the tedious work of grinding it, which we can also
I don't mind.
Trade up.
Either, yeah.
I'm hoping this works without any flaws, but you never know.
Do I have to wear the glove?
You don't have to. Do you want to touch raw raccoon?
Like I have been touching raw raccoon. I never wear gloves when I'm butchering.
No, I wouldn't.
I probably should from time to time.
Well, see, I wouldn't really wear a glove normally. It's just like, it's hard to wash your hands out in the wilderness.
Yeah.
So you end
especially when it's snowy out.
It's snowy out,
cold,
and you get a greasy hand. And then what do you do with the greasy hand? You stick it in your glove, and then you've got a big mess going on. So what we're hoping for is that it pushes right through. If you're ever grinding up meat like this, what you want to do is make sure it's like kind of still frosted. It won't bind up so much. We may have some binding issues here because it's actually a little bit too warm for my preferences. So what we're hoping is all that fat doesn't gum up, and I'm just continuing to retight this. Cause
this is just a plastic table underneath.
Yeah, so it's not ideal.
Not ideal.
So let's see if we can get some mustard in here. So this is doing the job that your teeth would normally be doing, but on a wild animal, there's a lot of chewing that needs to happen because the meat's tough. So this is kind of like liberating those calories. You want to stick your finger in there?
Maybe. Does that look like...
I was gonna get Courtney to help me with this video. I just didn't get the time to do it. was gonna get her to grind my greasy meat and all that good stuff.
Oh yeah, you're gonna turn it into one of those videos.
Gonna make it really dirty
on your unlisted channel.
Grab my greasy wild meat, just grind on it. She was gonna do all the grinding work, but Jeremy gets to be the beneficiary of all the grinding of the wild meat to help him on his wild food diet. So this is a fair amount of work. I do actually feel it in my muscle here. Thankfully, we're almost to the end here. And I'm happy to say that my grinder is working really well. The 60-year-old grinder.
I mean, you can get some really fast electric grinders, but for these guys, you can find them at yard sales. Like,
yeah,
they work so well.
Nobody wants them anymore. Nobody wants
them anymore, and they last forever.
Nobody wants a 60-year-old grinder. Sometimes you just have to make do.
Dump it in.
Dump it in a bowl.
Yeah, and then I'll mix the spices in.
Since you got the glove on.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, so smells a bit like well, it smells like a spice. It actually smells like a spice.
Can I sniff?
It's hard to put my finger on what it smells like. It smells like a grass.
It kind of smells like a bale of hay.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to put your finger on. I think the best thing to do is just pick some yarrow and dry it out and
and then you'll
see
know
if you like it.
Yeah.
It's not hard to find. I think it's pretty much all around North America.
Yeah.
More or less.
Yeah.
Leeks are seasonal. You have to grab those in the spring. If you don't get them in the spring, you'll never get them. Especially the greens. The bulbs you can apparently get in the fall if you know where they are, but it's hard to selectively pick them because the green will go back and down in the ground and it'll lie dormant until next spring when it shoots back up. Kind of like a spring bulb of any other plant.
Yeah.
Any other flowering plant.
So we were going to do that with the sunchokes, the Jerusalem artichoke. Because we like them so much, but we only picked a certain quantity of them, and we were going to go back in the spring before they sprout and then get some more bulbs.
Yeah.
Because we know where they are. They aren't showing themselves yet, but...
Right. And they'll be in the fullest form with this, like, the picture plant stores everything in the winter. In the spring it shoots all up. Does this flowering thing, reproduces, and then drops back down, and energy goes back down and gets stored back down in the bulb for a lot of plants. Plants that don't like spread as readily as other plants do. They don't transfer, they just shoot up, and they'll actually make a little seed. But the seeds I don't think spread very well, which is why you risk over harvesting the leeks. So you have to be really careful about that. You can never over harvest raccoon. I'm a firm believer that you cannot over-harvest raccoon.
I think you can over-harvest anything.
I think you'd have a hard time trying to over-harvest raccoon.
Yeah.
Considering nobody wants them.
It's more resilient.
You'd be the only one out there trying to over-harvest raccoon.
But if everybody took our word for how tasty it is, and they all went out and started harvesting raccoons.
That's true. Especially with how we're going to do it. We're going to make some really good burgers here. Now, ideally, you would throw an egg in here, but Jeremy can't eat any modern source foods at all, including egg. So I had that in mind when
We've been using fish eggs as a substitute in baking, but I didn't bring any with me, and I don't have any stored up right now.
Yeah, fish eggs. Think about that, guys. They're taking eggs from perch on your big wild year, and you're mixing them all up, and that's acting as a binder.
Yeah.
So I'm surprised that works the same way. But there to have it.
An egg is an egg, I guess.
An egg is an egg. So it does actually bind together?
Yeah, it helps.
Really?
Yeah, and it helps it to like fluff up.
Mm-hmm.
So it helps to hold those air bubble pockets inside of, like, we're making, mostly Delphine's making little cakes or like a pancake almost.
Yeah. And so would we add bear fat to this?
No. We'll add some to the pan, but there's a lot of fat in here, right? Like probably at least 20%.
Yeah, at least 20. It's got the perfect ratio of fat to protein, whereas if you take a venison, you have to add fat to it. When you make sausage from venison or anything like that, you have to add in some kind of pork, or in our case we'd be doing like bear, but that would help the moisture content, because what happens when you fry something, you're always drawing that moisture out. You don't want something that's chewy. It's enough that it's chewy to begin with. You don't want it to be lack the moisture. So that's why raccoon's the ideal survival food, I think.
Yeah, well, if you get them late in the fall, you get such a pile of fat off them.
Yeah.
It's really good for cooking and calories.
Yep, so we're going to add some leeks.
Yep.
And then we're going to add some maple syrup, I think, too.
Yeah.
Just for some... Sugar's always good in meat. It's like, it's a weird thing that people think that... I think that sugar and meat don't go along together, but they really do.
Yeah.
And then maple, you were like, why would you waste maple syrup in raccoon burger? But again, if you're trying to go on a wild theme, this is it. You collect all of this, you don't need any sugar. And there's lots of nutrients in sugar, in the syrup.
Yeah.
Which I think a lot of people don't understand.
And it has a much lower glycemic, what's the word? Index. So it's at like 55, which is considered low glycemic.
Yeah.
So it doesn't spike your blood sugar in the same way as other refined sugar.
So if you weren't privy on what that is, you would think that's hamburger meat at this point with a whole lot of really great spices. So you can see the bigger leaves are the leeks and the smaller ones are the yarrow, and you can actually, if you look carefully, you can actually see little flowers of the yarrow plant. So Jeremy's going to add some maple syrup. That I can take the lid off.
Sure.
Probably. Oh, you need your glove again to make the burgers.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
How much?
How much as you want.
About that's. Oops. I almost always say oops when I add maple syrup to something. It's like, oh, accidentally put too much.
To my benefit.
Yeah, we'll be all right. And then we'll mix it.
It seems to have a good stick.
Yeah, I think the sugar helps with that too, but also as it warms up the fat of the raccoon.
It starts to work as a binder a little bit. It will tend to fall apart without the egg, but
yeah,
not enough for us to not be able to make a burger out of it. 100% wild burger. Let's grab the pan here. Don't mind the cottontails on the ground. They're always part of our lives, some way or another. If not them, some other wild animal. So we're going to heat this up, and then we can drop them right in the pan, and they won't tend to stick. We don't want it in a cold pan. We got some stew here. That's part of another adventure.
Yeah, you want the bear fat?
If you want some bear fat in there,
just a little bit to moisten the pan.
All right, we're going to moisten the pan with some bear fat.
Yeah.
Okay. So we got a jar of bear fat. This was also another part of another adventure where I made some beard oil. That was a thing. So yeah, we'll drop that in there, and that'll grease the pan up so it won't stick. So probably just enough to coat like you would use any kind of oil. That looks like lots. Let's grease this pan up. Nice and hot and warm for the wild meat. And keep everything well lubricated. You don't want anything to stick. That looks really good.
Yeah.
Really good. And it's probably not a very thin grind on it, but I think it'll be fine.
Yeah, I think so. As long as we get that pan hot, we can put that other lid over top to trap a little bit of heat.
Yeah.
And then should be good. So I'll just make these ones into burger balls there for now, and then we'll flatten them out like these guys over here for cooking.
You see just how much fat is in there. Those big globules of fat. That's key to an all-wild diet. It's hard to make it go on just protein.
Yeah, unless you have a really good carb source, eh? Like.
Yeah. Well, how much protein, how much meat are you eating every day right now?
Oh, probably a pound.
A pound of meat.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's mostly what I've got. I don't have a good carb source, and then I'm mixing fat with my meat. Yeah. Most of my meat's got its fat in it, and then I add bear fat, raccoon fat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How's your supplies of fat right now? Raccoon fat and all that stuff?
Good, actually. I've only used a quarter of my raccoon fat and probably a quarter or a third of my bear fat so far.
How long are you doing your wild eating experiment for?
365 days.
And how far in are you now?
60 or so.
How do you feel?
Good, I feel good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Just eating wild foods, not anything from stores?
Yeah, nothing.
What about planted food?
No garden food. Everything's been picked, harvested, hunted, fished from the wild.
So we're going to start with 2 big whoppers.
Oh, listen to that.
So now your mouth is watering, so pause the video, go get a snack so you can eat coon burgers with us. All right, let's put the big cover on. There we go. All right, so while we're waiting for our raccoon burgers to cook, we have some gruel. Want to talk about the gruel?
Sure.
All right, talk about the gruel. I'm going to gruel it up.
All right. So the gruel is red oak acorns that were harvested and then dried, then shelled, and I used the hot leach method to remove the tannins. So the hot leach method is just to boil them repeatedly. So I cook on a wood stove. I heat with a wood stove at home. I don't cook on it, sorry, necessarily, but I do heat with it. So I've had a pot of boiling acorns on there going for the last couple of months, and I just keep switching the water out and then adding new acorns when my batch is finished, and so that's what this is.
Here you go.
Oh, thanks. These weren't really ground down into a flour, but I did put them through a blender, so they're a little bit chunky. I like the texture of them.
Looks like a porridge.
Yeah.
It's like a nut porridge.
Yeah.
With, well, it's a nut porridge. We had some of this last night.
Mm-hmm.
And it's good. But
it's bitter.
It's bitter, yeah.
Because I didn't boil it enough times.
Yeah, I think that's the takeaway message I got from that. We had acorn flour before baked into a cobbler.
Berry cobbler, yeah.
Yeah, with apples, I think it was, and blueberries.
And walnuts?
Possibly some black walnuts in there too.
Yeah.
And it was really good. It wasn't bitter at all. So the trick is, I guess, to get the right amount of tannins out.
Mm-hmm.
But this, I ate a pile of it last night because we're eating all wild all this whole weekend, including the burgers. But I was getting hungry and I didn't want to eat. What did we have last night? Goose
stew.
No, the stew, rabbit, hare squirrel stew, and it was getting hard to eat. And it was only like the first boil of it, so it's hard to eat. It's hard to chew.
Yeah.
So I wanted something I didn't have to chew. So this was like, can I have this? And Jeremy's like, yeah. So it is a gruel.
Yeah, and you can use it on as a topping, as a base. You can add it as a thickener to soups and stews.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty flexible. And acorns have a really great balance. Like, they've got carbs, fats, and proteins. Unlike some other nuts, which are heavier on the fats and the proteins.
Yep.
And they've been a staple crop for indigenous peoples the world over for a really long time, until they were basically replaced by agricultural crops like corn and wheat.
Yeah.
But they do say that a acre for acre, you get more food value from a stand of oaks than you do from a wheat field, with the added bonus that a stand of oaks is an intact ecosystem and is supporting many other wildlife.
Yeah.
So they're very productive, but they don't produce every year.
So this is a fall crop. You have to get them in the fall, and you have to beat every other wild animal out there to get them, because they're sought out by squirrels, bear, deer,
Blue jays, turkeys,
yeah, everything.
chipmunks.
So last night when I ate it, I found it really bitter. Today I'm used to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like my palate's expecting it, so it's not as like, okay, this is not good.
Mm-hmm.
And the good thing is I didn't get sick from it. I know probably if you eat too many tannins,
you can suffer tannin toxicity.
Right. React to it badly.
And tannins also, if you have too much of them, I think they can absorb certain nutrients from your food. But on the other side, because I've been doing a lot of research about mercury and lead as a contaminant in wild food, tannins are very good at binding with mercury. And so the theory is, if you eat tannic foods with your food that might have mercury in it, it's going to chelate, which means it's going to bind onto the mercury, and then you'll flush it out of your system through your regular processes. So when combined with tannic foods, you absorb less of the mercury.
I think my body has accepted this as food now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I really don't find it that bitter anymore.
It's like if you eat rapini, or like the first time you eat it, you're like, oh, this is a really bitter green.
Yeah, Kevin didn't like this at all. He tried it.
Almost spit it out.
My brother, yeah.
But then he finished it.
Right. It's almost like when you introduce a food to a baby.
Yeah.
Any new food or kid or anything, it's like, nah, that's not food. I don't want that. That's not food. I never seen that before.
Yeah.
And they eat a little bit, they spit it out or whatever, and then maybe next time they'll eat like 2 bites of it, like, nah, you know what? That's probably not food.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably gonna kill me. I'm not gonna eat that. That's since I didn't die yesterday, my body's like, actually, that's pretty good.
Yeah. We could do that again.
Yeah, we can do that again. Gives you start feeling good, and gives you the calories you need. So this is squirrel food. Turn into human food. Question for you guys out there: do you guys think that a squirrel leaches its nuts? And if it doesn't, do you think they like the tannins? Do they like that really bitterness, and they've evolved to just appreciate that tannin-rich stuff? That'd be something for like a researcher out there who might know.
I think it's just biochemistry.
Biochemistry. They're just like
they just are evolved to eat it and not react to it or suffer from it.
Yeah, I mean that's a whole another thing right there. We have to process our food. So, all right, I think those burgers are almost ready to go, and almost done to the last bite here. Beauty. And of course the adobo spice is optional. You can get that on, there'll be a link in the description. Zach Fowler sells it on his website. Maple syrup addition is also optional. That looks pretty good to me. Okay, so
let's eat.
I think you get a prize if you eat one of the glands.
Oh yeah.
Because it's always going to be raccoony.
Is it?
It's going to be raccoony if you get a gland. I'm not saying 100% got rid of all the
gland, yeah.
Right. Not 100% certain I got all the glands. If you're curious about these cutting boards, Adam Craig builds them. The link will be down the bottom. They're really great, and he's actually selling them now, so check them out. I can taste everything you put in it. I can taste the maple syrup. I can smell the yarrow. Taste and smell it. It smells good. It's got that aroma to it. It's good. I think the grinder's a little chunky on the chunky side.
A little bit.
Could be a finer grind.
Yeah.
If you use electric, you can actually pass it through twice, so I get a finer grind, and you can also use different blades. That's the biggest tip I'm going to give anybody if you're going to grind up meat, is to make sure it's on the colder side, because then the meat is firm, and when it goes through, it cuts it up finer. Than if it's like, you can actually get into problems where you won't be able to grind it up at all if it's too warm. The fat will just gristle up and stick on the blades, and then you're done. So
I was watching Meat Eater. He even chills his bowls, chills his grinder, chills everything.
Yeah. I haven't had any hint of raccoon odor or flavor at all yet. Have you? No.
It's kind of like a pork burger.
It really is. Yeah, it really is. Like, if you serve this to somebody, they would not know it was raccoon.
No, they would wonder what the spice is, isn't it? Because
Yeah,
the yarrow is not a... It's not really comparable to any other spice that I normally use.
No.
But the leeks are good. They add that little bit of garlic onion.
Yeah, I forgot about leeks. I don't taste the leeks as much, I think.
No.
I think the yarrow is kind of hiding that oniony flavor, or at least just accentuating it, but...
But the maple syrup's in there.
Yeah, the maple syrup 100% you can taste. Yeah, and it's adding that sweetness to the meat that you want. How many glands do we figure were in the raccoon? We know, okay, so just without getting graphic, like obviously it's not going to be graphic because we're just telling you, but there's one in each front armpit, I know for sure. There's one in each back of the leg, like in the knee knuckle, the back.
The fold of the muscles. You have to open the two muscle groups and it's in there.
Yep.
There's a bunch of them along the neck. So it really depends on if you're keeping the neck on or just cutting it off right at the head.
I think they're kind of at the base of the skull.
Yeah, like jaw.
And then in the head at on the top of the tongue or something like that. I forget now, but I'm pretty sure there's a couple. So if you don't keep the head, you're pretty much clear of all that. But you can't. It's hard to tell what the glands look like. They look like little green, sometimes whitish, and they're tucked right inside the folds of the muscle, and also sometimes buried into the fat.
They look like a white bean. And when you get a fall raccoon and they're all white fat, it's really hard to find that white bean in the white fat.
Yeah, and I'm going to admit right now, before we eat any of the other 5 burgers, that I did not remove any of the glands.
Oh, no?
Only because I didn't find any glands.
Yeah.
I actually looked for them and I didn't find them. So it could be that it's just a small, like a juvenile raccoon that wasn't mature yet.
Yep.
So I can't explain why I didn't find any glands, but we definitely have found them before.
Yeah, or maybe they're seasonal, or...
Yeah, I mean, maybe they just end up shrivel up and small at sometimes of the year where they're not, like, out marking territory as much. or like I think it was just not mature yet. And so, like, you know, when a person goes through adolescence, they obviously their glands, their scent glands, become much more developed and prominent. So I think that's what happened in this case.
You and I deglanded a skunk, and I can't remember if we found glands on the porcupine or not. I think not.
No, because we didn't skin.
Well, that's right.
The porcupine, we kept the skin on, so of course you can't get the glands out when you don't remove the skin because you can't find them.
But we didn't taste any glands.
Did we? On the porcupine, we did.
Yeah.
Yeah, the porcupine was porcupiney.
Oh, I don't remember it being like that.
There were some bites that were good, and other bites that were like, okay, clearly I bit into a gland there.
Yeah.
But it's like if you've ever seen a porcupine in real life, you can actually smell them from a pretty wide distance.
Yeah.
They smell. They have a body odor. Adam was saying it smells like armpit.
Yeah.
But it just smells like a porcupine. So anyway, that's one thing.
Did we degland a raccoon on film?
We did.
How did we cook it after?
Stew.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we had a stew.
I was trying to remember what our theme was.
Yeah.
But I remember at that time we had checked online for other videos about deglanding.
Yeah.
And there were not a lot of great ones.
No. There was one really good one, but we kind of had to muddle through it. You had to watch it like 4 or 5 times to figure out what they were saying. We have a good one out there. I'll have to probably link it here. Actually, sorry, you can't see it because you have to be a member of the channel. So unfortunately.
Okay. So I searched your channel the other day and I was like, I'm sure we did a raccoon. Where is it?
Yeah. So long story short, YouTube doesn't like when you post up videos like that, and also people don't like when you post up videos like that. So I tried it as an experiment. I made a separate channel by itself, but it got flagged. It got flagged, and I had no other choice but to. I have to hide it. I have to hide it, except for people who want to spend $5 a month. If you want to watch all the cleaning videos, you pay $5. You can access. You can not join anymore. It's up to you. If you love what we're doing here, you can obviously stick around. But so anyway, you join, and then you'll in the community section you'll get links to the unlisted version of the channel. Anyway, it's unfortunate, but that's where we are. We can't eat wild food anymore.
Yeah. We
can't show people how to eat charismatic animals like raccoon. They're just too cute for most people. And they're like, no, you can't eat that. You should stick to eating cows. They're ugly, and chickens, which are.
But even if you showed a cow butchering video, it would probably get flagged, right?
Well, it's true, but at the same time, like, get real people.
People have gotten that squeamish.
Yeah, they're just lost touch with their food.
Or advertisers perceive that people are squeamish, and so advertisers are driving that censorship.
It's hard to know. I think it's obviously a little bit of both. Like, if you guys really demanded that YouTube permit this stuff, and it was like, you know, the majority of people said, no, we want this, do not censor it, they would bend to that. But it's just like most people just either they don't care, they're not active enough to complain that it's not present to the right people. Don't come into me, it's got nothing to do with me.
You're in the moderate middle.
Yeah, if you're in the moderate middle and you don't speak up, that's what you get. You get the extreme ends saying you can't do that, and then we're caught in the middle because we're not in charge. I mean, we can only do what we can do. And if we want to keep funding on the channel to keep doing stuff like this, it has to be done that way. Hey, go a little bit off track.
Yeah.
With that, but
raccoon's good.
Had to be said, raccoon's awesome, and we're gonna cook the rest up.
Yeah.
Whatever's left over, Jeremy can take home and share with Delphine, who's doing the wild year. That's Jeremy's girlfriend. So if you want to check out Jeremy on the big wild year, there'll be links down the bottom. Go check out what he's eating. There'll be some raccoon, but there'll be also other things. And he's going to basically walk you through the whole year, throughout the year, to figure out how he's keeping on top of his calories. So it's quite an adventure.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
it's good.
Check it out, and there'll be more stuff with both of us. So take care, and I'll see you in the next one. You can subscribe or not. I don't care. It doesn't mean I don't care about you. And you can go check out Jeremy and subscribe to him because he wants you to too. And he cares about you too.
Sure.
Sure? Or yes.
Sure, subscribe. Yes, I care about
there you go.
people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and we do, like, I don't know how you keep up, but like we do answer questions and comments on our channel. I try really hard to answer your questions because people have questions and they want to learn, and
as best we
it's about sharing knowledge.
As best we can.
Yeah.
All right, take it easy.
Yep.
We need more raccoon.
Yeah, let's cook.
I'm hungry. So while we're waiting,
Okay, I'm done.
You done? Goofing right now.
Yep.
Hey guys, today we're not going to overlook the common trash panda or raccoon. We're cooking wild today. We're cooking raccoon. We're going to turn this guy into a burger.